Yeah, what's going on? Welcome to the checkup, yeah. This is a good moment for me. I can't lie to you because I have someone who, see, they call him the Prince of Grime. Yeah, they call him the Prince of Grime. And I'm like, yeah? This is one of the reasons why I like you. I got Yizzy with me. One of the reasons why I like you, yeah, is because your whole thing is, yeah, I'm the Prince of Grime, what? Kind of like what?
Yeah, unapologetically, just hearing it. Like, if I say something, I do it with my chest. Like, I do it fully. And at the moment, I said I'm the Prince of Grime, and what? And I ain't heard no real replies or real anything wrong with that. So I'm just running with it.
Is that what that's about? Is like elements of that about that? Like, are you kind of on this thing? All right, cool. Let me come and let me see like what everyone's on. Let me see what everyone's on. Let's see if anyone's got some smoke for me.
You know, it was a mixture of things. Even the Prince of Grime thing came around from when I was working with one charity and I met Prince Harry. And so that's when I put up a picture saying Prince Harry and the Prince of Grime, just as like a random thing.
Yeah.
And then people started like calling me that a little bit more and it started picking up. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll run with it. And then also at the same time, like there's a certain select part of the grime scene that just always has like troll, like always just likes to troll me.
Yeah, bro.
So I'm one of those people that's like, if you don't like me for a bullshit reason, then I'm gonna give you a reason to fucking not like me. And my reason has always been kill someone with success or kill them with happiness.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you don't like me for a bullshit reason, I'm not gonna like hold on to a grudge or anything. I'm just gonna make sure that I do even better.
Yeah.
So that it just pisses you off even more. Because if it's something's in your face so much, then it's like, what can you do about it? Really?
Do you know what it is like? Because you just mentioned the whole thing about like the trolling element of it and that, yeah. But it feels like people take things way more seriously than they did before. Do you get me?
Yeah. 100%.
Like before, somebody could have come out and said these things, and man would have just known straight away what it is. Mm-hmm. But now it's like no matter what you say, no matter what you do, gets taken so seriously.
Yeah, but I feel that's because things get twisted like in social media so much, and it's like if people sleep on a violation or certain things, then people just run with that for ages and just keep poking and prodding and there's only so much one person can take, really. But like, I don't know, social media just gives, people always want clout, but you can make a whole career of clout. You can make a life of clout if you know how to do it. I mean, look at that 6ix9ine brother. Even music aside, his whole thing was clout. He built a career and money and a life of clout. Fair enough, his life is messed up now, but for that short portion of time, he had a life.
It's
from
true.
Just starting.
How long does that usually last though? That's the thing.
But it depends though, what you mix it with, because some people are smart. They'll do the clout thing and they'll actually have good music or they'll have a personality or a character or something in place to back it up.
Yeah.
But it's the people that only run with the whole, I'm gonna chase clout, I'm gonna do this and have no real plan in place that only go so far. They'll hit
but sometimes the clout is the plan.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like sometimes people just use that as a whole, like, you know what, yeah, I'm gonna literally manipulate the whole game. I'm literally just gonna just come out and just troll everyone. I'm just gonna go in the studio and try a thing and just see what happens. And sometimes man bust from that. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Honestly, I don't know about you, yeah. I don't even want to get into a big conversation about it, but I knew from the get-go, 6ix9ine, he was so trash to me, bro. But like everything around it seemed to be making the noise, and then like everyone bought into the whole. It's like people bought into the music with it as well, brother. It was mental to me.
But you know, is if you portray an image and you don't know the brother personally, you're gonna take that as the gospel truth, really. Unless you hear something from this person, if you just see that all the time, yeah, this brother's a gang member, he's this, he's that, then until you know otherwise, that's what he is, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then when you find out he's otherwise, then you start going back and you start clocking things you didn't before, like, these people only started hanging around when he made this song and he made this amount of money and blah, blah, blah. That's when he got certified by these dons, but really they were teething money off him the whole time. Like, it's mad, like the whole situation, but
it is what it is, isn't it?
Life, innit?
Yeah. Well, you're from Lewisham, right?
South London, born and raised.
I think like one of the reasons why I wanted to have a conversation with you, yeah, is because I feel like I don't really have that much conversations in front of people with someone of your age. Yeah, how old are you?
Just turned 20.
You just turned 20, yeah. See, that's mad because grime is like 20 years old. So like from when you was born, like grime has existed, yeah. And that used to be a thing that I used to listen to in school or whatever it is, yeah. So it's like, for me, I find it kind of interesting trying to understand what it was like for you growing up from a musical aspect as well as the streets. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you know, what was your first introductions to grime?
First introduction probably would have been, nah, it wouldn't have been Pow. It probably would have been maybe Who Are You? Shit. Like first proper introduction. Like obviously I'd listened to like one of the first albums I ever listened to was Retrospective, which is a classic for me. But obviously that weren't really the griminess that got me into it. It was probably around the whole Chipmunk, Who Are You? I think that was like 2010. Nah, was it 10?
Who Are You? Yeah,
9?
I think it was a bit earlier than that, you know. Yeah, I think it's around 2009-ish.
Yeah, that was probably when I first started to understand grime music and just the people that were in that scene a little bit more. And then obviously like when songs like Power came out afterwards, and then since then those were kind of what I grew up with. And then through my own like just going and liking it, that's when I discovered like F Radio and the Risky Road sets and whatnot. But other than that, it was just whatever I heard from my older brothers or whatever just was done so well. Like
older brothers, see, I knew there was something there.
Yeah,
I knew there was something there.
Big family.
Because you know what as well, like you would have seen without even necessarily realizing it, just like you would have been a part of the changes that sort of happened, because like obviously you had the early grime days and stuff like that, and then you had that where artists started to become successful but musically from a different perspective. So you saw for example Tinchy Stryder had like early success in that, did some songs with Dappy or whatnot, and then you had like people was doing it, people, and Chipmunk was another one, Tiny Temper, they all started coming out. So there was like that element of the music scene that had changed a bit, but it was like the man them that were now making money, even though they weren't doing grime.
But the thing for me is, certain man I was able to see the grime into those making money songs. Certain man, all I saw was the pop. So for example, I didn't see Tinchy Stryder on grime before I saw him doing pop, just because of the way it was presented to me and just the timings of it all. But I did see Chip. You know what I'm saying? So obviously that's kind of where the age thing comes into it. But the first thing I saw at Tinchy was just pop. I didn't see anything else. I had to go back and go watch old sets and listen to radio, like to understand it. So that's why it's mad, like.
Yeah, because obviously Tinchy was before Chip, and Chip was like you. Chip was at doing radio in and amongst people or whatever, like making a name for himself. So I feel like in his early days, like, see like what you're seeing now with just that, the way that he is on the microphone, he was displaying that like early on in his career. Do you get me? So yeah, he would have been someone that you would have been proper fucking with in school.
Yeah, 100%. Chip was the guy. It was always, I don't know, if you wanted to be like the next young MC or something, or you wanted to prove yourself, like you wanted to be like Chip. Because it was like, he done it in such a high level way, and he done it with his own character. Like you always said that like it was him and Criminal, but he never thought he had the right voice or the right tone. But he probably had more character than Criminal, and maybe that's why he cut through way better. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, he and again, he's someone who's unapologetically himself. Like when he says something and when he speaks, like he doesn't kind of worry or how it will come. He just says it. And I like that.
I think what it was with Chip as well is that like you could see that he wanted to learn. Like he wanted to learn differently. He wanted to kind of like, you know, see what, like, how does this thing actually work? Whereas there were some people which, no, like obviously each to their own and that, where some people just wanted to just grab the microphone and just do their thing. And you could always see that Chip was the person who like wanted to understand things a bit more on a deeper level. And I feel like that counts for something.
Yeah, because I think it shows what you want to be as an artist. Like some people just want to be in there for 5 minutes. Some people want to build a legacy. Some people want to understand where they come from and have more information, so they, I don't know, so that way they can put it into their craft. And it shows, like even down to certain instrumentations, like you can tell that someone's put a lot of time and they've done it in a specific way, or they've been involved in the process all the way. And that only comes through like a willingness to learn. Yeah. And like as far as I've been led to believe, he's someone who's always been involved from like foundation level, always in his music. And that's something I respect so much, because there's a lot of ignorant people out there that like don't even want to get a song mixed properly. Or they don't even care about artwork. They don't care. All they do is they go in the studio, they vocal it, smoke, have a little drink, leave, and then just what happens, happens.
But you say that, yeah? But like, I feel like this is why I want to have this conversation with you as well. Yeah. How did you even know about mixing a song? Like, because this is like, I would say that. I would say the same thing. I would say, rah. Like, I have a big issue. There's a few things I have issues with, yeah. Some of the songs not sounding proper. But I understand, like, some of them come straight from the bedroom, go online, and it does a madness. So I understand that. Also, I feel like a lot of the performances and that are shit. People are not necessarily...
They don't know how to perform.
They don't know how to perform. But you know what as well? People are not learning their bars. Like every minute I'm like looking at things and I'm seeing people looking at their phone, like reading the thing off their phone. Now don't ever get this twisted. On radio sets, man had their book. There was man out there that had their book.
Yeah, I seen it.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, sometimes I thought to myself, shall I cut them a little bit of slack? Because back then, there wasn't a camera then. If there was a camera, then maybe back then man might have made more of an effort to learn the bar. Or they might have just scrapped that and just been like, cool. Or they might have still read from the book. Do you get me?
But you know why it's not excusable? Because of the level of spitters and people that you see doing it. If it's a brother who you know is just lyrically dead, ain't really got a lot about them and they're reading off their phone, you won't care as much. The things that annoy you is when you see people in big positions or signed to a label or people that are just talented reading off their phone. Because then all that shows you is just laziness. Like if you're actually a brother that's good at what you do and you're reading off your phone, you're lazy because you could have taken that time. Don't tell me you're busy 24 hours of the day doing this and that, so you can't take 10, 15 minutes to sit down and learn your bars. Like that's lazy. But like, I just can't take someone seriously that reads lyrics off their phone because I'm just like, you clearly don't care as much as you should.
Yeah.
Especially if you're someone that's in like a good position. Yeah. A man would kill that. There's bare people out there that would kill for that position and would put the time in.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
There's definitely an element of not taking it as seriously as they think that they are. So some think that they are taking it seriously. They do. But when you start looking at what it actually takes to take something seriously and what you actually have to do in order to display that you're taking something seriously is completely different to what some people think that they are doing.
But I think what happens then is it takes for them to meet someone or something to go, not even go wrong, but something to happen in their life to put it into perspective how much they're working and in what way compared to someone else. Like I hate when you got to compare yourself to someone else, but sometimes it's a wake up call. Like you think you're doing the most, but then you go meet my man. And my man's doing what you do and he's got kids and he's struggling with bills and he's doing this. That's when you see what it's like to juggle and work hard. But you can either let those moments kind of inspire you to go and do more or do harder, or you can let them break you. And I feel like a lot of people, like, unfortunately, comparisons happen all the time now, and people think because they're not doing as well as the next man that they get disheartened. Or then they start trying to just make the exact same thing as my man. But that just because that formula worked for him don't mean it's gonna work for you.
How did you know about mixing records and shit like that though?
I taught myself. I just watch YouTube videos, trial and error. I've been mixing.
There's no excuses there.
I've been mixing my own stuff for 6 years. I didn't have money for studio. I was going to a community youth club in Sydenham Wells Park Road. I had no money. I had to go there, turn up at 6 o'clock. They only had 2 hours worth of studio. 6 till 6:30, 6:30 till 7, 7:30 till, and etc. And if you didn't turn up, you wouldn't be able to record. I went there to record. That was it, just to record. And then I had to take it home and learn to mix. I got a cracked version of Logic. I saved up my money and got myself like a £200 refurbished Mac, and I taught myself. All the information you could want about the music industry, about mixing, about producing, everything is on YouTube. All the information you could want is accessible. But brothers are fucking lazy.
It's mad. Really, there's actually just not much excuse, is there?
No.
Really. I think that's the difference between your generation and mine per se. Like now, yeah, there's an industry that we can see evidently works in certain ways, innit? And like you can find your own way to navigate in that. Before all of that, we didn't even know that there was an industry. And if we did know that there was an industry, that was like so far from us. Like we weren't really understanding all of that type of shit. All we knew about was like being in a maybe at radio or being in a certain place, making a tune, whatever, and do you know what? It just being amongst us and our brethren. Do you get me?
But I think that's the reason why I'm maybe more critical of my generation than people that have come before me because all this information is accessible, like everything. And it's so much easier to put music out there. And it's probably easier in certain ways to become a musician and become an artist just because of the presence of social media, or just even because the way music gets consumed. Like people will listen to a song for maybe a week or two and then they want another one. So like there's always going to be room for new artists and people to come through. But people feign ignorance through a lack of knowledge. But the reason why that's bullshit is because everything you could want to know is out there.
Isn't there too much information though?
It depends what you're looking for. No one's telling you got to read the whole book. You could just pick a certain section and just say, cool, I want to learn that today. You see what I'm saying? Like when you go to school and you're learning a certain subject, they don't teach you it all at once. They teach you little bits over the course of a period of time. It's learning. It just depends how you learn. But people don't want to learn. You get me? People would rather go chill on the block, or they'd rather go bun a zoot, or they'd rather go out on a Friday night and spend 50, 60 pound on some gal that they don't know, rather than 50, 60 pound on a mix down, or 50 pound on a course to go teach how to edit footage, even though it's free on YouTube, or 50 pound towards getting a camera to do some content, to building a channel. It doesn't even have to be rapping. There's so much you can do, but people's priorities are messed up. Because I see people that have kids, I see people that struggle, I see people that are on benefits, I see people that are doing all of this and still managing to pursue their passion because that's what they want to really do a career in. And then I see other people that get shit handed to them on a plate and are just fucking with it.
Yeah.
It's bullshit, and that's what pisses me off. Especially the whole knowledge thing, like the lack of people wanting to know about the industry. It's fucked. Because then when you get fucked over from a contract or from a deal or from whatever, it's your own fault. Got no sympathy.
Well, yeah, but also sometimes I think when it comes to signing deals, there's like a lot of inexperience in that, and there's, what do they say? The devil is in the detail. And if you're not able to see the detail, because you know, I also understand that sometimes you lot could be from a hood or whatever, and then you get offered a certain amount of money, and that money is so appeasing. It's so appeasing because you feel in the immediate what that can do for you in the immediate, but not everyone necessarily has the business acumen to be able to.
But that's the problem, especially for men that are coming from the hood, because the hood mentality is quick, fast money. It's not large amounts over long periods. They want quick money and they want it now.
Yeah.
And that's what will fuck up man going from the hood or from the trap straight into music. Yeah. Because they'll go with that same mentality. They won't even read the deal. They'll see 100 bags on a contract and say, fuck anything else, I'm just gonna sign that.
Your generation has to break that. Do you know why? Because I feel that like, a lot of us have been in that predicament. A lot of us have been in that predicament. We've heard that for years, even above, like past us, innit? But now, as you said, like with information and all these things, we're starting to know. And there's like situations and stories that come out, like, you know, take it to America quickly with like P. Diddy and Mace, and like P. Diddy had signed Mace to a record, signed his publishing or something or the other, yeah. And like the industry standard was to take maybe 50% of that publishing, innit? But also give him, I don't know, 10 bags or whatnot. But 10 bags or 20 bags for somebody who lives in a hood at that time, in his mind is like, you know what, fuck it. Like, you know what? Like, I'll sign this. I think it was more than 50% actually. I think it was like something crazy. But coming from where he comes from, in his mind, that's a lot of money. I'm just going to take that. Now he's older, he's understood, like a lot of people, I'm in some fucked up
but do you feel sorry for him?
Do I feel sorry for him?
Yeah, especially coming from that like specific situation of coming from the hood and then getting yourself into that deal.
I'm going to answer that question, but I'm going to make a statement after that. Yes, I feel sorry for somebody like him that would have signed that back then in that situation, because I understand it. See, if that happens now, a lot of that is on you, purely because of the information. However, it's hard because the detail is in the devil is in the detail. And like, sometimes those things are there to trick you and to, you know what I mean?
But for me, even like, regardless of like the generation or the time it's in, if you are coming from the hood, a place of hustle and a place of understanding that people are always gonna wanna get one up on you and fuck you over, traditionally. Yeah. Why would you walk into another business situation assuming anything less? Why would you let your guard down? If you don't let your guard down on a day-to-day basis because you're not trying to slip or you're not trying to lose money or people are out for your position or they want what you have, why would you assume it's different just because you go step into a room with someone in a suit? Especially if it's someone like Diddy that's coming from a similar situation as well. I would be even more on guard.
Yeah, I hear that, but the times are different, bro. Do you know what? Like, the reason why I say the times are different is because, okay, the resurgence of grime, yeah, we could talk a little bit about that because I want to understand it from your perspective, if you even saw it as that. Because maybe you didn't even see it as that. You could have just been constantly doing it and it wasn't so much of a resurgence to. We'll get to that, yeah. But in and amongst that, there was like a movement of, you know what, that's not me. I'm not signing nothing. That's not me. Like, we don't need to do this. We don't need to do that. And like, I don't think that we talk about this a lot, yeah. But prior to that moment, obviously a lot of people were signing deals, and a lot of people are signing deals now. There's a lot of money in the game.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Of course not. Of course not. There's a lot of money in the game, and there's some good deals out there, by the way. There's some people that have got some really good deals. But I think also it was like, for a lot of people, it was almost like an awakening where it was like, you don't have to strive for that. If you strive for that and you do it in the wrong way, this is really gonna fuck you over. And I feel like artists started to really understand that around that time.
But I think the only reason it was able to become a reality more over the years is just because of the way people consume music. Like, it's not gone from physicals anymore, it's digital now. Digital's something that you can access all around the world. You don't have to be a major label to set up a company, to run a label, like to do anything digitally. I feel like if music had still stayed in a physical format and, I don't know, social media wasn't as big of a thing as it was, the internet wasn't as big, as popular as it was, then maybe people would still be in that predicament of feeling like the only way to be successful is a major label. Because realistically, what is it that's allowed all these kids and people to blow overnight and do stuff? It's socials. You take away, if you go look at everyone that's come around in the last 20 years and you take away their social media presence or the fact they uploaded it on SoundCloud or this and it went viral, you're gonna lose at least 30% of the current popular artists. Definitely.
Do you know what kind of deal, like, are you signed?
Nah, I've never been signed. That's another myth about me, you know. There's so many shit out there, like myths. Apparently I'm an industry plant. Apparently I'm signed.
Do you know where that industry plant thing probably comes from? Where do you think it comes from?
Because apparently I've done quite a few things with the BBC.
Oh, is that what, okay. Oh, I think that's stupid, bruv.
Right, now you see me, like, it's dumb. It's dumb, like, that's what pisses me off, because it's like...
What does that even mean?
I said to someone, I entertained it for one day. I was like, all right, one day of bullshit, yeah, on Twitter. If I'm an industry plant, who planted me, yeah? What label or who planted me?
Ireland.
No, Donnie said the BBC planted me.
Nah, that's dead, bro. That's
the
a
BBC
shit.
plant.
That's a shit plant.
Apparently, the BBC are constantly pumping money into me.
Nah, if you was gonna be an industry plant, no. If you was gonna be an industry plant, you would have come from Ireland.
You reckon?
Nah, do you know what? They've got more integrity than that. I don't know where you would have come from, but I don't know. Maybe Sony. You'd have come from Sony.
Not to mention though, what industry wants to plant a grime don?
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't think that. But do you know what it was, yeah? Is that like, this is stupid and still ignorant at the same time, yeah? Yeah. But you're like, I've been following this thing for a long time, yeah? And I've seen you come through and I'm like, this fresh-faced don though, like, it's like this fresh-faced, like, gallus kind of like what the, like, seriously, like from grime and that. More time when you're looking at man, like, especially like the sweet boys from, like, look at Kano. Kano was a sweet boy from grime, but he still had a rugged kind of thing. Do you get what I'm saying? You don't have a rugged thing about you. So it's like, right, this don's a bit like, where's it like?
Do you know what it is? The reason where the whole industry plant thing comes from is because of what I've done in the amount of time. Like, I've only my first song I ever released was February 2017. Yeah. So it's been 3 years since I've been releasing music. Since then, we've done Glastonbury at 17. We've done Brixton Academy. We got played on almost every major radio station. We've done newspapers. We've done millions of streams. And all of this stuff is of grime music in a time where grime isn't popular. So everyone's question is how? And that's where people are going straight for the easy answer of industry plant. Rather than going and checking a back catalogue of music or looking at what I was doing that other people weren't doing. the easiest thing for them to say is industry plant. They won't tell you about how I was going to open mics and performing in basements in front of 3-4 people. They won't tell you about how I was doing even drill songs while I was doing grime songs because that's what was popular. They won't tell you about how I was going on every and any radio set I could go to, whether it took me 2 hours to get there, whether I couldn't get back, anything. I'd done the most every single day. In exams, writing lyrics, in school, staying up till 3 a.m. every night on school days, just writing lyrics. Like, no one sees that or tells you about that because they don't want to believe that. Because they'd rather go for the easy option of you were planted and someone's putting money into you. Like,
what heritage are you?
Background.
Yeah.
Jamaican, Welsh, Egyptian.
Okay. And like your brothers listen to grime and that, yeah?
Yeah, everything. Like, I come from a big family. I'm one of 14.
Is your dad in your life?
No.
He's not?
Nah.
Okay. But you got a good relationship with your mum?
Yeah, yeah, come on, that's my rock.
Interesting still. So like, and then, because you just mentioned, yeah, like you was obviously still doing a bit of drill and that, but like grime is obviously your thing. But it just makes me, it just baffles me to a degree of like, okay, like drill is such a prominent thing within your age range, yeah? Like how you fell into this and not so much that.
But the love, you get me, growing up, there wasn't drill. And I was exposed to grime, even back on having MP3s that only held 20 songs and shit like that. Like, I was exposed to grime, and that's what I grew up loving. I liked the fact that it was a bit faster. I liked the fact that certain men had unique styles, like D-doubles, flirters, like they were doing it in interesting ways. I liked that. Drill, when I was growing up and when I was in school and that, was too repetitive for me. And people already think grime's repetitive, like lyrically. For me, a lot of it comes from sonics. There's a lot more diversity in grime instrumentals than there are in drill, or especially when I was coming through. Now it's a bit different.
If you don't like something, yeah, then it's easy to say that something is repetitive. Because really, everything is pretty repetitive when you don't like it. So to me, when someone says that about any genre, to me that's just air. That you just don't like it. It's just not for you.
But one thing I can't knock people on is a lot of instrumentation sometimes sounds the same in drill.
Yeah, that's for real.
But I've never come across that in grime.
No.
But having said that, there's definitely more grime producers than there are drill producers, or maybe less so in like the last year or two.
Yeah.
But like, even stuff like that, because I'm a proper music person. Like, I sit down with producers, like I do everything from scratch. I direct my own videos, I sit down with producers, I record my vocals, I mix my vocals. Like, I'm really involved in the process. So for me, sonically, it's got to sound different. It can't sound repetitive. If 2 of my songs on the same project sound the same, one of them's coming off. Like, I won't allow myself to do that because I know I can do better than that. And I think I owe it to people not to put something out that's just, this song sounds like his last song.
Yeah.
Like, that's boring, man.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, if you do it well, then it's not so bad. I mean, I've fucked with Janae Aiko for time. She's an R&B singer. She makes the same song over and over and over again. And as long as you do it well, then you're all right. And like, it's the same across the board. But yeah, versatility and trying to not sound repetitive within yourself, I think is an important thing. But you laughed. When I said to you about like being signed and that, you laughed, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But why though? Like why is that funny though?
Because people are convinced I'm signed, and you'd be surprised how many times I get asked that question.
Yeah.
Not even are you signed? It's you're signed, innit?
Yeah. Well, mine actually, because I was about to come with a question more on like the
idea of signing.
Not the idea of signing, but just like the type of deal that you are in and like how hands-on you feel that you would be in the process of signing a deal now. Now that you have the information that you have, you know, how hands-on are you looking to be with that?
I feel like it depends. Like, first and foremost, money and numbers aside, it's always got to come down to the team in place that's able to facilitate my project or my single to the maximum level. You've got to be able to do something to a level that I can't do by myself, first and foremost. And then it just comes down to what do you want for how long? Like, if you're telling me you want like 4 albums for like 10 grand, then I'm gonna laugh at you. because you're basically asking me for at least the next 4 years of my life.
Yeah.
And I personally feel like I'm worth more than that. It comes down to your current worth based on streams and numbers and even like social profile compared to what they're willing to bet you can do over the course of maybe 5 or 10 years in terms of recouping. Now, that's when the no numbers come into it. And obviously a major will offer more money because their big artists are making them more money. So sometimes they can take a gamble on a new artist. Because if they take a gamble on me and invest a 20, 30 grand and I turn out to be the next Stormzy, then it's going to make the biggest.
Hey mate, you're going to be looking a lot more. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the corona thing and how this affects the music industry, which would be a good conversation to have at another date. But prior to the corona thing, there's a lot of money in this in this music game, but also it's working out your value at the same time. But one thing that I've learned from people that I respect a lot, and in some way I see the logic in it too, is just that like, almost in some way negotiating the shortest deal possible because you can always renegotiate. Otherwise, if you put yourself in a situation now where, I think like, I don't know if this is even still a thing, but like people signing 5 album deals and all of these type of things.
Yeah, I've not heard of.
Megan Thee Stallion, so she signed some type of deal or whatever, right?
Idiot.
Yeah, but then that like, I don't know, she got, again, it was a little thing where they just giving her a little piece, whatever it is. They get X amount of albums from her or whatever, But the benefit of doing something where you get to negotiate often is that they weren't to know that she was going to be as fucking, she didn't even know. So you know what, if you have this thing where it's like, okay, I haven't signed something super crazy, but short-term deals or whatever. Now when it comes to renegotiating, see this time around now, see the P's now, it's different kettle of fish.
But the only problem with that sometimes is when you come to that first initial deal, a label might, especially if it's a short-term deal, they might be a little bit more reserved and cautious about investing X amount into you.
That's
and
fine.
Not just money in terms of time as well.
That's
like
fine.
If they know they've got you for like 3 albums, then they're less likely to shelf you because they actually want to get something out of you.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, obviously there's certain circumstances, but for me it's like...
It all depends on how hot you are, bro.
Yeah, but I'd obviously prefer a short-term deal over to long-term deals because
I'm not telling you how to sign your deal.
No. I'd prefer short-term over long-term just because I feel like in terms of me having a moment, I haven't had the moment yet where it's taken me from this level to that level of, I don't know, mainstream success or even just success in general. Yeah. And because of that, it doesn't make sense for me to be tied into something long because it could happen tomorrow. It could happen in a month. It could happen in a year. But it could happen at some point. So having a long-term deal is not beneficial for me. Yeah. But then again, having a short-term deal for and asking for X amount of investment might not look good to the label because they're like, well, we understand that you could have your moment as well. And we want to be a part of that. So that's why we want you for longer and maybe we're not willing to put as much time into you or put as much money into you. Because
that's crazy though. Whoever, regardless of what, if you're signing something, you would like to believe. Yeah. Once you negotiate that and you come to a happy medium, regardless of whether that, well, hopefully it favors you the most. Regardless of that, they put their all into whatever it is that they're doing and don't take their foot off the gas. But the thing is, it doesn't always work like that because, you know what, everyone can get super gassed, I see this happen bare times. I always think as well, some of the best things to do is not necessarily make too much announcements on the signing and all of that. The reason why I say that is because so many times, I've seen this, the champagne picture. Everyone's there, it's the big champagne, the whole family, all of that, And don't get it twisted, I get it, bro.
Enjoy your moment,
Trust me, I fully get it. But see when the single comes out and it doesn't bang, then all of a sudden now everyone in the office is kind of, working on this thing now and not really, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, that picture there is obviously still on the Instagram and that was a nice moment or whatever. But I feel like sometimes those are the things that contribute to depression, bro.
But do you reckon, I don't know if I've seen, or maybe it's because I ain't been looking in the right place, but I don't think I've seen anyone in the UK that's done the champagne thing. And then when I've checked for their first song, it ain't bang like that.
What?
Maybe I'm not looking in the right area.
Fam! It's rife. Do you know why? You don't see it. Because people don't post that part. Yeah. They don't post that bit. People post the litness. They don't post it when it's not going that well. And in fact, what usually happens is that's when they start coming out maybe a year later or a year and a half later, bashing the label. They didn't do this and they didn't do that, or you know what I mean? But anyway, off that, like, I hope that obviously all that works for you. But I wanted to just go back a little bit, yeah? See when, like the resurgence of grime was what, 2014-ish, around that sort of stage. Yeah? How old would you have been then? So you'd have been
13,
about
14.
Fucking hell, bro.
Yeah.
So did that feel like anything? Did it feel like, or was it just normal? Like Skepta was just the guy.
No, you see, like when That's Not Me's or even no.
Did you rate them, man?
Yeah, obviously I rated them 100% because it was like the way they were spitting was different to any American stuff I was hearing, and I was proud to be like for a man to be coming from similar backgrounds and whatnot. I was happy, but when like German Whip and that came out, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was a crap song. And as a 13, 14, 15-year-old me, that ain't gonna appeal to me like a Lil Wayne song at the time, unfortunately.
So what you was kind of fucking with some American shit?
Yeah, I'm someone that listens to all music.
That's good still. Now the only reason why I asked that is because I just always imagine like in the playground, it would have just predominantly been what was happening here, predominantly.
Nah, can't lie. In my playground, it weren't grime. It weren't.
What
grime.
about rap?
Yeah, little bits and pieces, but for the most part, it was American stuff.
Serious?
Yeah.
Mad.
That's what I mean. Like it was weird because it weren't like now where the thing is drill. Like there weren't a thing. It was just a bit of everything. But for the majority of what it was American stuff. So it was like when the whole grime resurgence came out 2014 to 16. I'll tell you when I first started to see it, and when the people in my school and my area, it was when Stormzy dropped That's Not Deep and then done the Section Boys remix afterwards. Because at the time, Section Boys were popping. And them lot were arguably some of the people really to kind of do the UK trap drill thing first. Yeah. And that's what obviously was getting gassed. Like, tell your old friends, delete my number. That's what was going on in my school. And then when they saw people linking up with that, or even like Krypton Conan doing Don't Waste My Time, that was like around the time when it started to be okay. Now grime, people are doing grime a bit more. And then obviously after that, you had like That's Not Me, you had Man Don't Care, and then that's when it started to change. But I'd say the first thing for people my age that said, okay, people are doing grime again, and even then, was probably That's Not Deep.
Or it's not that deep or something like that. Yeah, from Stormzy, yeah?
Yeah.
Shit, fucking hell. Yeah, because that was a big thing still.
And it was also because he was the new brother as well.
Yeah, of course. He was like, yeah, of course, man. He was literally that. You could see it. You could feel the golden child thing happening. Like, you just knew, you just knew he's not going to lose. Like, he's actually just not going to lose. All he needs to do is just keep doing his thing, and he's just going to be on his way. And fucking hell, bruv. Look what he's ended up going on to do. It's incredible, bro. There's recently been like conversation about no one of your age, like H made these comments about like no one of your age essentially, like 19 and younger, caring about grime. And like I've had conversations with people, I did a podcast and that about it, but ultimately we're older, innit? So we see things from a certain perspective.
Yep.
And for us, even for me in particular, I was kind of the opinion where that seems like I'm always trying to listen, because at the end of the day, again, we might be seeing things very differently, innit? And like, I think it's wrong when the older guy is always telling the young guy that he's wrong, because I remember what it was like when I was 18 and the older lot was always shitting on every opinion that we had.
And a lot of the time it don't actually come from a good place, it comes from a place of resentment.
Oh, right then. I hear that. I hear that still. I definitely hear that still.
To me.
But like for me, obviously I saw it as like, rah, when I'm looking at some of the shows and that, for example, Bugsy Malone, you know, fam, like look at some of the shows that he's doing and you look at the audience that's in there, and I'm seeing people that I feel are a lot younger than 19 that are in there. I still also ask myself, just because they like Bugsy, just because they might like Skepta, just because they might like, I don't know, fucking Lethal B,
doesn't mean they
doesn't mean that they love grime.
Yes. And that's where so I understand where H came from with his comments, because like you said, just because you're a supporter of them, whether they make grime or pop or rock, you're going to support them because you like them. Might be because of their personality or whatever. But his exact words were, nobody is bothered. And if nobody was bothered, then when Stormzy and Wiley clash, no one would have given a fuck. But for that week or for that period of time, everyone was talking about it. Donny charted with that. You think you can just chart like that and get a top 20 or whatever it was from what? People just 20 and older listening to it. Even though everyone's under the same opinion that music is ran and what's popular is determined by a younger audience.
But I could also say that, like, I put Stormzy in that as well. Because some people will say, yeah, I really like grime. I like Stormzy.
Yes.
And it's like, okay.
Heard that so much.
But like, just because you like Stormzy, does it mean that you're bothered about grime?
Yeah.
And the thing is that, like, I hear what you're saying in that, like, bearing in mind, I'm of the opinion that people younger than 19 do care about grime. But I'm just, like, posing the argument that, like, the reason why the Stormzy clash was as big as it was is because Stormzy he's a European superstar. Well, he's not. Okay, let me take the superstar away. He's a European star. Is he a European superstar?
I wouldn't say that.
He's a European star. He's a star.
He's definitely a star.
Yeah, he's a star. The superstar thing, maybe not. But he's massive, bro.
Yes.
So naturally, like, so much people that... There would have been people out there that probably would have said... Like, there would have been a percentage of people that probably would have said, what is a Wiley?
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Yeah.
So really, that's not saying that people care about grime.
No, but do you know it's his exact words. Nobody is bothered. Not a couple of people, or not nobody is bothered compared to generic statement. Nobody's bothered. Now, the amount of people that are bothered about grime compared to drill or Afrobeats, yes, it's less. I think that's something most people can just agree on, because that's the current popular sound. It happens in phases. It's life. But to say that nobody's bothered means that there aren't 15, 16-year-old kids up in Manchester or up in Birmingham or in London rapping along to Stormzy or rapping along to grime going, I want to be like that one day. Which we know is true, because otherwise there wouldn't be a next generation. Bearing in mind, H is somebody that came up spitting grime on risky roads. And that's what annoyed me a little bit more, because it was like, you should understand the scene you've come from a bit more to know that, okay, it's not the in sound, but there are people doing it. He probably has friends that are younger than him that are doing grime, but just because it's not...
He's doing it to a degree. He's still, like, there's still certain things that he's doing that shows me that he's still attached to grime, but I don't know, like, I don't know.
It's not saying he doesn't dislike grime.
Yeah.
He probably does like grime. But he made a very generic statement, and I don't think if he had gone on to explain it a bit more, then it would have been more. It would have been a bit more acceptable. But the way he said it was so poor. And he's got to understand that when you're someone like him with big followings, there's a certain level of responsibility of what you say, because X amount of people are going to take whatever you say as a gospel truth. And you've got to remember that the impact certain things can have. If it's a genre that's not already popular, by you going and saying nobody's bothered, if even 50,000 people are the people that follow you go, you know what, H said nobody's bothered about grime, so nobody's bothered. I'm not even going to bother checking for it anymore then.
Yeah, that doesn't kill a scene, though, but I get it.
No, but it doesn't help it.
Yeah, it's true. I hear that.
It's not a step in the right direction.
If you come from something, then you want to be able to, in some way, shed light on it with whichever, like, talk on it in a positive way as much as you can. But yeah, of course, and I feel like it's all right to highlight the negatives and that too. But yeah, the nobody cares. But I wanted to ask
some of the responses I don't agree with.
What?
Like, I saw a couple people going at him afterwards saying, he's basically saying grime is dead. He didn't say grime.
He didn't. That's what I'm saying. The conversation just got completely...
I think the only one I remember particularly was Lethal. Lethal saying about understanding where you come from and that grime paved the way for you. He never said it didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where a lot of the backlash that he received is from a misplaced perspective. But trying to explain that to someone, nobody wants to be told they're wrong. You got to let them get to that. But he didn't say Grime is dead.
All right.
He didn't say, fuck you, man, that paved the way. If Grime, I could have been here without Grime. All he said was, people my age and younger aren't bothered.
And do you know what? In some way, I'm not part of it, but in some way, I could see why he might say that. Even though I think that it's like a bit misguided.
Yes.
But I think that like, when you say nobody, yeah, of course, it's not. You know, like sometimes some people say no one, everyone, people.
Yeah.
But they don't like, they're not literally saying that. They're not literally saying nobody. They're just saying the larger percentage.
Because if he had turned around and said, a lot of people my age and younger don't listen to Grime, nobody can say nothing to him. Because that is a fucking fact. If he said a lot of people my age and younger don't listen to Grime, that's a fact. Because if they did, it would be the popular sound, and it's not. But because he said nobody and is bothered, what do you quantify bothered as? Success? Kids from the next generation of Grime? It's because he said it in such a general way that, yes, cool, you can have a bit of backlash for what you said. But I hate this misguided backlash of,
without
without Grime, you wouldn't be here. Donnie never said that, man.
This is one of the, listen, bruv, see that there? That there is just one of the prime examples of why I could understand that some people may not even fuck with religion. You know that? Because if he could say, if he could say on the radio, make a statement, and then literally the same day, what he says gets twisted into some complete different thing. How is man supposed, something that came out however many thousands of years ago? Do you get what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden this whole thing's changed. But I just say that lightheartedly.
Now I clock why certain people don't speak out on situations. Why they don't get involved. Because they just can't be asked with a drama or something getting twisted to fit a certain narrative.
I hear that.
You get me? It's better to just shut up and
That's why Stormzy gets so pissed off with like the media and that. And this is one of the reasons they can't handle it. When he turns around and tells them, go suck your mum, bro. Yeah. They don't know how to deal with that. In fact, suck your mum. Yeah. See in you lot's generation, like how do you lot see that? Because like I grew up at a time, fuck the growing up at a time. Being a Jamaican, and loving sound system culture. That is everything to me. Sound system culture is everything to me, The amount of times where like I'd be watching a clash between, I don't know, Kilimanjaro and David Rodigan, for example, and I'm hearing, suck your mother. Like that was like a normalish thing, innit? Yeah. And I think that like a lot of grime, a big part of grime comes from sound system culture. It does, innit? Yeah. So like 100%. There's certain things, certain terminologies and that come from that. And like in our soul, for some of us, we know that. Like I would never tell a man to go suck his mum. That's just not really my thing, innit? If I hear it in the music, I'm just like, it doesn't do anything to me at all. But I feel like now, in that, with you lot clashing or whatever, the suck your mum thing seems like a super sensitive thing to say. I noticed you didn't say it, and you looked like you was gonna say it.
No, because every person's different. I'm like, for example, when I done Prince of Grime and I went at Dot Rotten, I said, Dot Rotten, go suck your, I ain't gonna say that one. Because I don't know your mum. Your mum's probably great. I'm calling you a dickhead. Like your mum's probably a lovely lady. She probably raised you really well. Like leave your mum out of this. But having said that, it goes down to each individual. Like I'm not someone that takes offense to suck your mum because I know that you say it to me in a musical aspect. But if we were out on road and it was just me and you by myself, you're not gonna say that. You're not gonna say that because you never have. You're gonna say it when there's cameras and you're gonna say it in a musical environment because it's gonna get gas and it's gonna get some hype. But if I told you come outside when no one's around and come around the corner and tell me to suck my mum to my face, are you gonna do that? You're not. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I don't take offense to it, because I think if you can say something in front of people or in a certain environment, but you can't say it elsewhere, then you're just a bitch. Like, you get me? If Wiley says I'm gonna rip the weave off your mum on a track, but wouldn't say that to Stormzy in the flesh, then he's a bitch. Same way if Stormzy says Braka back and Bender wouldn't say it to Wiley to his face, then he's a bitch. But certain man will, and certain man won't. But it always just comes down to each person. Like some people, if you say something to their mum to them, even in a musical thing, it's beef. But every person's different, innit?
Yeah.
But I don't, like, I watch battle rap a lot. People say some way worse things about dead homies, this and dead. And that's way worse than Suck Your Mum could ever be. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends on each person individually, innit?
Yeah,
but it's definitely oversaturated. Everyone just throws it out there and it's just like, oh.
I know. But that's, I think,
just like,
a part of it is the reaction to why people get upset about it. Because someone telling you to suck your mum, that might sting. But if everyone jumps and says, oh, we told you to suck your mum,
that's peer pressure then.
Then that becomes a whole different pass.
Yeah, but that means you should give into peer pressure.
Yeah, of course. That's the game.
Man end up dead for that and giving into peer pressure and doing dumb shit.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I'm saying? Over less than suck your mum, so it's just like, come on, man.
It's mad. Yeah, it's mad still. Do you feel like the older generation fuck with the younger gen?
Nope. They don't. None of them do.
Do you get like,
half of them will tell you that.
I know that like you and Yizzy linked. I know you and Wiley's had like I don't know, what is your relationship like with Wiley? I know that Wiley told, like you couldn't put out a tune or some shit like that, innit? Because you did a tune with Yizzy. Was it like that? You said it in a bar?
No, so he did. I had a song with him before I even met Yizzy, and he didn't let me put out the song.
Because you did a song with Yizzy?
No, he just didn't let me put it out. For example, I was in studio, me, him and Terror Danger, we was in studio, recorded it. I said, yo, I'll hit you up about the video, whatnot. I left studio, I'm walking to the station. Before I even got on the train, Wiley said he doesn't want to do the song, take him off. And I still to this day never heard an explanation why that. His explanation now,
ask him?
His explanation now is that he used those bars on a tune with Shorty. Was it? No, it might have been, yeah. He used those bars on a song with someone. But that song only came out like 2 months after he told me to take him off the song. And as far as he knows, and he told me this already, he didn't know that song was coming out. So for whatever reason it is, he says it's because he weren't in the right place and he weren't in the right frame of mind. And
but you feel like it's a bit convenient?
I feel like it's the cop-out answer.
Yeah.
But having said that, I can't judge a man's mental state. So if that's the reason, then cool.
Yeah.
You get me? Since then, we've been in studio, like we've spoken. After I done Prince of Grime, he phoned me like the next day. We spoke, whatnot, blah, blah, blah. To answer your question, my relationship with Wiley, I don't know. But it's not the same relationship I've got with Gets. It's not the same relationship I've got with Yizzy. It's not the same relationship I've got with whoever. It's a very...
Does Gets fuck with you, yeah?
Yeah, I've seen Gets a couple times. Like we speak occasionally as well. And then same thing with Devlin as well. Like it's just a couple people that like when I see them we talk whatever, and then some people it's more musical as well. Like me and Dizzy's done quite a few bits together. Like me and Devlin was working on things in the past. Like me and Gets have been was in the process of working on and still are something for ages. It's just like the relationships I have with them are very like I know where I stand with them. I never know where I stand with Wiley, and it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, but I think that's just like a lot of people. I don't think that's personal.
No, definitely not.
Wiley's always been a person, yeah. I don't know if you know this, but like from the start of this thing, one thing about Wiley that's been really good is that like he's always been in touch with what everyone is doing on their come up across the country. Mm-hmm. So like from early he was fucking with man from Manchester and Birmingham and like different, and like he was, while it was all in East, he was in West fucking around with like Hyperfen and Marcy Phonics, and then in South and North, and like he was always about. But I think sometimes he would have to talk on this because I don't know how it was for him. But I think sometimes when you do that, which is good because you're staying in touch, you're the common denominator that keeps the dots and that connected. Sometimes with that, you can only give a certain amount of energy to each person. Do you get me?
But and this is the only brother I say like responsibility wise, as arguably the curator of a sound and the godfather of grime, to not be involved in the future generations of grime after yourself. I don't understand like how that's possible. Like the only people I've seen to ever come from grime in my lifetime was Stormzy and AJ Tracy.
What do you mean?
As in come from the grime scene and
big zoos, like there's a few though.
No, I'm talking that level.
Oh, like, yeah.
That level was Stormzy and AJ Tracy. Now, how much involvement did Wiley have in the early stages of Stormzy's career? How much did he have in AJ's? Really? It wasn't a lot, or not a lot compared to what you think would be of the godfather of grime. So that's why when you ask me about a lot of these olders like fucking with people, there's a select few that will, like, and then there's people that won't. Like, unfortunately, I've been really lucky the way I linked up with Dizzy and Devlin and whoever. Like, I feel like I'm in a very unique situation, which is, again, is another reason why people don't like that. Because it's like, these olders don't fuck with anyone, but they fucking with Yizzy. Oh, you get me? Like, however, whatever circumstance we've come to meet, or however we work in what capacity, there's clearly a reason for that. Just because you don't know it, like, doesn't mean jack shit. Like, you're not meant to know everything. You see me? But no, I just felt like with Wiley as the godfather, that like maybe you could have done a bit more for the next generation that have come since you. Like, you could have helped Stormzy, you could have helped AJ, you could have helped anyone. You could even help the people that are coming through now. But it's like, he just likes to fuck around a lot, unfortunately. And he's someone that people buy into because, yeah, you pushed the grime thing, you pioneered it, but I think that's the only kind of credibility to hold on to, because then since then, people just know him as a troll, unfortunately. Even though I know he's not, he's a bloody genius. He knows everything he's doing. He's a genius. Could never take that away from him. But
people see that though.
And it's not to mention the people, like, if you go and a big man, 30, 40 years old, you want to do a track with him and you sell him a dream and that doesn't happen, then the big man's just going to keep going on with his life. When you do that to a younger kid who looks up to you and looks up to grime in such a way, you can't do that. Like a 21, 22-year-old Stormzy, like, and people look up to you and then you want to do a tune and you don't want to, like, you can't do that. It actually fucks with people. Like, you're old enough to be next man's dad and you're doing that.
The thing is, what I would say is that, like, I don't think that he cares about the godfather. Actually, I don't know.
No, the title he doesn't necessarily care
I
about.
think that he just is him and he does what he does when he wants to. But like,
And
which is fine, he's allowed to do that. I do think sometimes as well, like with the Stormzy, because I don't know their relationship and how it was before. Obviously, I know that it's not great now, and I know that he feels that Stormzy was paying him fake homage, yeah. But I also, this is maybe a conversation I would have with him. Is that, like, imagine, I was thinking about this just the other day, yeah. Imagine, like, Stormzy as a young buck would have definitely at some point looked up to Wiley, definitely 100,000,000%, and probably still does, irrespective of all of that. Probably still has a certain love for him that is just never going to go, because at the end of the day, he is one of the founding fathers of this thing, which has helped him change his whole life. But imagine you actually was genuinely paying homage, and then the person that you look up to, the godfather of this thing, the person you respect so much, says, fuck your homage. Like, it's fake. That must be a bit of a big pill to swallow.
But the reason why I find it difficult to analyze that situation is because Wiley is a brother that has come out and said, I know how to rile people up to fill my pockets then. So how, in what serious capacity can you take that? Like, does he really think Stormzy was paying fake homage? Or did he just want to rile up the internet to fill my pockets then?
Great question. Great question. And you know what? I hear it because it's like, I don't think Wiley should just hold the burden of this responsibility. But I am curious to find out, like, how much are, like, the older generation coming and just saying, no, I see you, bro. I see you. If you need any help with anything, you know what I mean? Let me know. I understand the business. I've been a part of it for a long time. I know how things go. I see you. You know what I mean? I saw the conversation you had with Dizzy, where Dizzy was like, look, like, fuck, you was a pain in the ass, and it made me know who you are. But like, you know what? You're here now, and we're here now, and we're gonna do something together. And I can see that, like, you know, maybe I could be jumping the gun a bit, but I could see that, like, there's a thing where Dizzy kind of looks at you as like, okay, yeah, you're like the young one. Like, if you need something, then, like, let's talk about it. Do you know, how much does that happen? If it happens.
So every kind of grime legend, like whether it's Chip, Gets, Devlin, Lethal, whoever it is, whenever I met them and I said, hi, I'm Yizzy, I think pretty much every single one of them are like, to some capacity, yeah, I heard of you, or I know who you are, which for me was sick, because these are people I look up to. Now, the amount of men that have actually kind of acted on anything like that, Gets, get me, like me and Gets have spoken a good couple times, and just he showed love straight away from when I met him. Dizzy, more than anyone else, 100%. Like me and Dizzy have we got so many songs, we've worked on so many things. Like he's just someone who will just check for me. Wiley, in whatever weird way, his own little weird way, again, there's someone that does check for me there, here and then. But other than, and then Devlin, like I said to Devlin I wanted to do an interview with him, and at the time it was just random. He sat down, he done an interview with me, he spat bars back to back with me. That's still sitting on my YouTube channel now. That was mad. Yeah. That was crazy. Yeah. Especially for someone who's probably doesn't come out as much.
Yeah.
So that meant a lot. Other than those four, like in terms of those people, that kind of legendary people of grime there, those are the only four. Yeah. That will actually like check for me or said, yo, like, let's do something, or just messaging me.
What about Jammer?
You're a bad guy.
No. I'm asking because I heard Prince of Grime in it, and that was the first thing. That was the first thing in it, and like I know he's.
What about him snaking me for 3 bags, or him getting punched in the face by Stormzy?
What? I'll leave that for Stormzy to talk about, or for him if he wants to discuss that, because I heard about that as well still. But flipping more so your personal situation.
Yeah. So he was someone that led me to believe that into some capacity we were like family. For example, my older brother went to school with one of his cousins, and like one of his cousins is the same person that cuts my hair and whatnot. Like it's a mutual, we know people. Like I've been in his house and whatnot, like been there when his family was there. So he led me to believe that we were cool on like a really good basis. And then it came time for me to, I can even talk about this now because I know I'm never going to see the peace from it anyway. It came time to doing Lord of the Mics, and part of the agreement was that it was going to be a fee based on X amount of shows they were going to do in kind of conjunction with it. Like, okay, we were going to do, like they always do, they do Lord of the Mics Festival at this place, they do shows at this place, and it was going to be a fee for each of those shows because I'm an artist and I've got a booking fee and I get paid, like it's the natural thing. And then it came time when Lord of the Mics came out. Oh, even before that. So there was a bonus round on my Lord of the Mics clash that I didn't spit bars in, because at the end of the 3 rounds, I said, okay, I didn't want to do the bonus round. And at the end of it, even if you go listen to the audio on there, he says, don't worry, just let him spit his bars. We won't put it in there. Maybe we'll do it as like an extra thing that people can buy or something. It took me until the premiere, sitting there watching with everyone else, to find out that it was still left in there.
Oh, man.
You get me? Like, I didn't know that at all. I had to watch it with everyone else. And this is a man that's led me to believe that man's family. And this is even before the whole non-payment thing. Because then on that same day, he came over when Lord of the Mics came out. My bank account is going crazy right now. My numbers, they're going mad. We're making loads of money. But then little money went into the promotion. There was no shows, no nothing. So then when it comes time for, okay, I promoted it on all my socials. I participated in it. I did everything, turned up for every radio appearance, everything he needed. When it comes time to the fee or the payment afterwards, man's nowhere to be found. You get me? And this is like a contract as well. Like man signed it and said, this is what you got to do.
Yeah.
And for this is what you'll get paid. I've done it all. And then suddenly went walkabout. And the reason why that cut me a little bit more is because that's a man that's led me to believe that man's cool. It's not just a random don. It's not just an industry brother. It's him, innit? It's Lord of the Mics. It's another older person. It's someone old enough to be my dad. Like, it's a big man.
Someone you'd look up to, I guess, isn't it? Like, if you are a grime MC, you're a young buck in school, whatever, you would look up, like, Jammer is a man you would look up to.
Yeah, in a certain capacity. And then it was like, okay, you've snaked me like that. You snaked me on the actual Lord of the Mics by putting the bonus round. You've now snaked me on money, but you still want to say Yiz when you're drunk and you're walking around with your underage girls and whatnot. Yiz, I love you, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, how much more of a disrespect am I meant to take?
Yeah.
But I'm not someone that's, like, the thing is, it wasn't even about the amount of money. It was just about the circumstance of it all. But I'm not someone who's gonna I'm not someone that takes stuff lying down. Believe me, just because I don't reply to something straight away or I don't acknowledge it, doesn't mean I'm not gonna come back and do a madness.
Yeah.
So that's why when it came time for the Prince of Grime freestyles, I put it all out there. You get me? I put it out there about him snaking me for money. I put it out there about how he FaceTimed me and said, oh, if you ever got rushed, I'd back you. But then you didn't back no one when fucking Doc Rotten rushed Shiz in the studio. You didn't do nothing about that. I'll put that information out there. When Stormzy banged you in your face at the festival and no one did anything, I'll put that out there. Because if you want to disrespect me like that, then I'll disrespect you back.
Do you know what you will definitely understand over a period of time, especially in this game, yeah? Trust me when I tell you, bro, and I say this with love. This game is full of people that are full of shit, bro. It just in general. I'm not talking about him. I'm just saying in general. Like everyone, like when things are going well, it's very get along gang. And everyone is bro, family, and all of that, yeah? But you know what? The best thing for you to ever do in this game is to take elements of that as a pinch of salt. When things are going negative, people are going to have some shit to say. And you know what, yeah? Even when it's positive, don't even take that too personally. Because you know what, yeah? When it starts going negative, then you start thinking, rah, like you start gravitating, like trying to look for this family or friend thing that you thought existed and all of that. Bro, I feel like the people that you have to almost, you know, keep the closest to you are people that 100% have your best interest at heart, which is, you know who your family is, you know your manager, you know what I mean, where these guys, their principles and that lay. But like a legend or a non-legend in this thing, bro, man are human beings, innit? And with that, when it comes to money, when it comes to just all kinds of circumstances, bro, not everyone necessarily has your best interest at heart.
But again, that's one thing when it comes to like even the reason behind doing the Prince of Grime freestyles. I don't want people to think that I just started on 7 Man randomly. There were issues pending with all of these people, but like I said, just because I didn't address it at the time. It
seemed like it though, because like
the timing of it.
Yeah, because what happened was obviously Dot. Do you know what? I feel like I will always love telling this story, because I was chilling on Christmas Day, and I was lying down watching my mum, my uncle, and all them lot singing reggae songs, roots reggae songs, and I went on Twitter and I saw Dot Rotten in a studio by himself with his hood all the way over his head, with a gold microphone, screaming, "Where is everyone?" And I thought to myself,
you that tweeted, everyone's at home with their family.
It's Christmas, fam.
Yeah.
It's Christmas. But you know what? What he ended up doing was sick, because it was entertaining. He was calling out man. He was in the studio ready for whatever. And then he was going back and forth, him and Wiley and whatever.
What did he gain from that?
What did he gain from it?
What did he gain?
I don't think, see with Dot.
All it gained was passer.
I hear that. But you know what? Sometimes, I know in the end, the sneak mode thing and that, it got a bit mad.
No, that aside.
But do you know what though? The thing is, yeah, it's not about it being a gain where, you know, you gain fans or whatever. I think for Dot, it was just about going back to the competitive nature of being in the studio and barring a man's head off, irrespective of who's checking for it or not. His thing was, I'm just better than you. I don't care how many fans you got. I don't care what the hell is happening. There's no one in the field right now that is better than me. And it's kind of like your Prince of Grime thing. He's doing the same thing. He's coming out and he's saying, I'm the king of grime, what? And then, but off the back of that, all of these other things started to happen. And then it seemed like you was getting in the game a piece.
Nah, so my Prince of Grime thing came around because I had a bit more reasoning and a bit more logic. I wasn't just, I wanted to prove I was better, because quite frankly, I don't care if you think I'm better. What does that do? Does that pay my bill? Like, that doesn't do anything. So that's different between me and Dot. But also, my thing was a bit more calculated. Like, I waited until Stormzy and Wiley sent their disses, and then I waited until like a week afterwards when it had died down, but people were still talking about it, and then I dropped mine. I capitalized on the moment. Prince of Grime freestyle was coming. It had been coming for the last 6 months. It was just a matter of when. And that perfect timing. So that's why it looks like I started randomly on 7 Man. But if you go back and look at what 7 Man have done to me in the last 6 months prior to that, it's all there for you to see. It's just a build-up. You get me? Like, for each different reason. Like, I don't, like, whether it was Jammer and the money thing, whether it was
AJ.
Yeah.
Are you too cool now? Is it like that?
No, never.
Serious?
Ever. No, thank you.
You and AJ, I think one day will just like.
So that's mad. Everyone always says to me that.
I feel like you and AJ would like get on. You know that? That's the maddest thing.
Everyone
I think you and
says
AJ Tracy would actually get on.
Everyone says that. But unfortunately, he is someone who's a little bit more petty.
Did you take a man's gal or something like that? There's a little something like I can't stand these light skinned man, you know. These men come and start taking a young fresh man.
Someone said that the other day.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Let me just ask you this actually. Yeah?
Yes.
The gal thing right now for you must just be mad. From school, because obviously school would have been like you was doing your thing from school and that anyway.
I used to have long hair in school, everything.
Is it? But it was gal like from early.
No.
And then now it must be through the roof. Huh? You telling me gal ain't throwing their little young pooch at you from early? Come off it, bro. Definitely. 100 million %. So anyway, AJ and his gal, what happened? I shouldn't laugh. Wait, that didn't really happen? Serious? I heard you were talking Turkish and all of that in the thing.
bro.
Can you speak Turkish?
A little bit.
And can you speak a different language? Buying off that, because I heard on a tune, yeah? Was you speaking Spanish or something? What tune was it?
I'm in the process of learning Spanish. I got a lot of Colombian and Ecuadorian friends around me, so I do Spanish. I go to all the reggaeton events. I
hear that.
I might as well break down the whole Prince of Grime. So Jammer, it was he snaked me for 3 bags. Did this whole family thing. Said he'd back me, but didn't back his brethren when he got rushed, and then he got banged in the face by Stormzy. So that one was that one. Cool, done. And then AJ. AJ basically had a girlfriend, and then she parred him off, and then within the time when he was trying to get back with her, she said no thank you, and then went out with me.
Decent.
And he didn't like that. And then when he found out who it was, he just started moving a little bit more petty. Like he knew who I was at the time as well. Like for whatever, this was before he started blowing up, so he knew to some capacity I was a grime MC.
Yeah. And in fairness to him, fam, if there's one thing that can make a man petty,
it's gal.
It's
100%.
gal.
But it's how you act on it. So after he found that out, he was still trying to message her while I was with her. He was still talking shit about me to next man, and it was coming back to me. It was still, when the FIFA list came out, cropping my name off of it. Like everyone's song that was on FIFA, my song, his song, getting someone to edit my name off of it. How petty is that? Like dumb shit like that. Even him trying to phone my phone, he tried to phone my phone at Wicked. Like, and these times I think I was like 17, and these times he's like 23, and he's already been successful and he's making all of his money and whatnot, but he still decided to phone my phone. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is
how old was this gal? So wait, if you was like 17 and he's like 23, what, like
19?
Okay, cool. Alright, so now.
Yeah, so probably about like 3.
When you're 17 and you're going out with a 19-year-old, don't that feel like you're going out with a big thing? It does, doesn't it? Be honest. See, when you're 17, you're with a 19-year-old, does it feel like I'm fucking killing it with an older thing? Or is it no? Alright, say no.
I don't know.
Keep going anyway.
But yeah, like she was older than me and he was way older than her. So I don't know. Like, feel free to continue rocking the cradle, do your thing.
Nah, man, that's all right, bruv. That one there is fine.
It's all right, but it's funny when your new girl looks exactly like your old girl, but a downgraded version. But anyway,
are you still with this girl?
No.
Oh, okay. So yeah, anyway, sorry, bro.
But yeah, so that's why with AJ, it was, I physically, and everyone always asks me this, your problem with AJ Tracy, did you actually do anything to him?
Yeah.
On my grandmother's grave, I've never done anything to this guy. Because you can't judge me on the actions of a next person not wanting to be with you. I physically have, I've never done anything to this guy. So that's where my whole annoyedness comes from with him, like being pissed off with him. And he can continue to be pissed off with me with the rest of his life. I don't care, fuck you. And then who else was it? Dot Rotten. Dot Rotten phoned me, sorry, not even phoned me, Dot Rotten DM'd me a talking a madness one day, out of nowhere. Like I was just chilling and I got a DM from him talking about, you went there, you decided to diss the king, blah, blah, blah. You wanted to look good for P Money and blacks and rare tear, so now you got to hold smoke. It was so, and Donny can't even spell, by the way. Donny's fucking atrocious with spelling. That's another thing that was fun. I put the fucking message on Instagram and everything. That was so funny. So I was just like, he said, you don't want to test my pen. So I just made a little mental note of it. And then I was like, cool, you got added to the list. And then obviously Prince of Grime came around. Yeah. And then there was, who else was on there? Wiley. Obviously Wiley's the shock towards Wiley was probably the least disrespectful one. Yeah. Just because what he'd done was just in typical Wiley tradition, and it weren't like a real thing.
And he didn't take that personal anyway, did he?
Exactly. And then the only other people on there was YGG.
Okay.
Yeah, you heard of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got YGG on there.
Yeah.
And their whole thing was just like they've been chatting shit for time. And then also there was a altercation at Grime Originals where I was meant to get the mic off one of them spitting, and then he turned around and tried to pass the mic even though there's no one waiting for it other than me. So I've tried to grab the mic, then I've had 4 men trying to grab the mic off me while I'm grabbing as well, same time. And then when I've started spitting, Donnie's tried to spit over me. Okay. And then he's tried to say, oh yeah, me and the man named G checked you. And I'm just like...
Everyone always has a different opinion of what happens in the studio.
I let people run with whatever narrative they want, because and until you see a picture or a video of me in whatever capacity in X, Y, Z, you can believe whatever you want. Yeah. Like, you get me? Like, if you want to believe that Donnie G-checked me, then you can believe that if you... Yeah. You get me? If you want to believe I'm an industry plant, you can believe that, but yeah.
Irrespective of all of this, never let the competitive nature within you go. Obviously... This music, like it's music at the end of the day as well, and like let's just keep it at that. I like just keep that competitive nature within you. I like what you've been able, because I wanted to say, you know, even like doing this, a part of me felt like it was a bit early for you to come and have a conversation like this. But I'm looking at what you've done, and I'm like, you know what? You're calling yourself the Prince of Grime, but you know what? You actually have an EP out and you have an album out. And I've seen you do a whole bunch of other stuff. I saw the Red Bull thing that you did. Yeah, I've seen you about for a minute, literally.
My presence in Grime hasn't been long, but the impact has been a lot. Yeah. Like even just doing Glastonbury at 17, and just doing Grime, putting out 3 Grime EPs, and performing and doing overseas bookings and just doing all this solely off Grime music. Yeah. Like going on TV and talking about knife crime and about the 3 Minutes to Live song, all from just Grime music. Like that hasn't happened in a long time. If at all, I don't know like to what capacity, but that hasn't happened in a very long time. Yeah. But a lot of people either will get behind that or they'll be afraid of that because it's something they don't understand. They don't understand how. Yeah. And people don't like change and what they don't understand. Yeah. So then they'll go with whatever the easiest explanation is. Yeah. But like, I'm always been someone that's always been trying to push Grime. Like, whether it's through any like the charity work I've done, whether it's through any of the music I've put out, any of the positive messages, anything I've tried to do, I've always tried to push Grime to new people, to everywhere. Like, there's videos of me online going to Ukraine and getting Ukrainian people to sing Grime lyrics. And they're clapping to 140 BPM. There's no instrumental, but they're clapping and I'm just spraying Grime bars. Like, everything I do, I've always tried to push the sound. But I don't know. I don't know if people always view it like that sometimes, unfortunately. But I
as long as you're doing it, you know that you're doing it for the right reasons and you're doing it because it's the passion that you have in it.
Yeah, because if I was doing it for money, I wouldn't be doing Grime. I'll tell you that straight. I'd be doing Afro beats.
Well, you say that, but
I'd bust a 1-2 auto tune and
I hear that. Bro, there's a lot, as we said before, bro, there was a lot of money in the game, but now, after this Corona thing, will be interesting to see kind of like what happens, because everything's being affected.
The price the price should go up technically.
Well, you say that, but like,
because people are going to be streaming and consuming music more.
Yeah, but not a lot of people are going to have money to even go to the shows.
No, fuck the show. As in, more people are going to be on their phones. Yeah, more people.
Well, like publishing and royalties and stuff.
Yeah,
like
more
that.
Like people are going to be listening to radio more. Even like people are going to be streaming more. They're going to be watching YouTube more. So in that the music release side, the money really should go up. Really, bro. To an extent.
Yeah, man. Keep going anyway, brother. And we'll have a conversation again soon. What have you got anything coming up at all? Well, what can you do, bro? What can you do? Don't want to catch no fucking Corona, bro. You're just gonna have to just chill out for a minute, man. Relax your soul and plan some stuff with your manager. Yeah. You know, and see what happens for the next part, next part of the year.
I can tell you, I got EP coming.
Is it?
Yeah. I can tell you the name.
Okay.
Fuck it. It's Prince of Grime EP.
Oh, okay.
It only made sense, like, for me to do those freestyles and to not come with a project to back it up. Wouldn't have been justice. So, Prince of Grime EP coming.
Yeah, man. And blessed, big up your brothers and that as well.
All of them.
You know what I mean? How many brothers you got?
12.
12. What? Serious? Yeah. 12 brothers?
Yeah.
Same pops?
Yeah.
Oh my God, he was gay. Yeah, he's like my Uncle Lenny. Oh my God, yeah, he went mad still. And what, like?
I got loads of big brothers.
So do you have relationships with all of them, or is it?
Mm-hmm. some better than others, because like some lives in Jamaica. Like my brother,
Yeah.
I got a brother that lives in Jamaica. My brother lives in Canada. Like I got 5 of them that live in Coventry. Like I got family all over, man.
And does your dad live in England or Jamaica?
He lives in Spain.
He lives in
He's
Spain?
retired. He lives in Spain now. Yeah. But even him, he used to do music.
Did he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a reggae artist. He used to do stuff with Bob Marley. Like my brother's uncle's Peter Tosh. Like the
Mad.
music is there in the family. Always has been.
Do you have a desire to like want to connect with him at some point? And
Sound like my mum. Nah.
does your mum speak to you about these type of
Yeah,
things?
of course. Got to speak to someone about it, innit? But
I hear that still.
I'm not one of these man that's like, yeah. I seen it. Bare man when they get older decide they want to reconnect with siblings or parents. I'm not one of them still.
Yeah, I hear that. That's fair, man. That's fair. I think like if you ever feel like that, like there's always time for that, but you don't have to force it. You just go with, you know, how you feel. And as long as you're having conversations with people about how you truly feel about family and music and just that and that, then I feel like you know what I mean, you'll be all right.
And I feel like that's one thing that helps me kind of get through this music industry in the way that I have. I'm a very resilient person. Like I'm someone that had to grow up very, very fast and just deal with stuff as it came. So when it comes to doing the music stuff, and whether it's like trolling or just getting through day to day of music and good times and bad times, this is nothing. Compared to what life done to me, this is nothing. I can deal with this. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, I don't know, maybe that's been beneficial to my career, being thick-skinned, not letting shit get to me, not having a breakdown and going on Twitter and blah, 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 blah. Like, get me? Like life prepared me for music way more than anything else could have.
The checkup, my guy, Yizzy. Thanks for coming through, man. I appreciate it, bro.
Anytime, fam.
Love and guidance.